Good morning, dear Sangha. Today is February the 25th, the year 2004, and we are in the Deer Park Monastery during our winter retreat. I think we should continue with the Dhamma talk this morning. When you come to the Buddha, you show him your pain. Dear Buddha, here is my pain. You can talk to him. You can show you your heart full of wound. And you just do that. You can spend time doing that. Allow the Buddha to see your pain. And don't think that the Buddha is sitting on the altar. The Buddha is in you. And you can find the Buddha everywhere. On the hill. Down there. On the bank of the river. Everywhere you can find him. And you allow him to see your pain. And then the Buddha will tell you that, dear friend, you have suffered so much. You need a lot of compassion. And you agree with him that you need a lot of compassion. And he will tell you how to generate compassion for yourself. Of course, he has a lot of compassion for you. But he can help you also to generate the energy of compassion from within. With compassion, you will suffer less. That's sure. You can receive compassion and you can generate compassion. You are confused. You don't know where to go, what to do. And the Buddha tells you, don't do anything yet. Just sit there. And he helps you to look that not only you need compassion, but your children also need compassion. And the mother of these children also need compassion. Because all of them suffer. Don't think that you are the only one who suffers. They also suffer. And this is something you can do. You will spend time with the Buddha, not doing anything at all. Just sit there and look. And And you don't need a lot of time in order to see that there is suffering in you and in them also, in the person you want to punish. And the Buddha will recommend a course of practice, a course of action that will not only help you, but help them. So your practice will include them. And if you are able to see that, if you are able to accept that your practice will include them, and then you begin to suffer less right away. Compassion is embracing you, embracing the person you have thought to be your enemy, the person you wanted to punish. Whether his name is Osama bin Laden, or Saddam Hussein. The course of action that you will take will make you stop suffering and will make them stop suffering. And that is worth, that action is worth a bodhisattva. Because you can be a bodhisattva. And with a heart of a bodhisattva, you can embrace not only yourself, but your so-called enemy. And who prevents Britain Bush to be a bodhisattva. And his course of action, political action, can embrace both his nation, America, and also the other side. And what is wonderful is that the practice can transform a person you think of an enemy into a friend, an ally. The case you consider this morning is an example. You have an enemy. That lady has betrayed you and tried to lie, to try to take the children away from you. And you consider her to be your enemy. You want to punish, you want her to suffer. But the course of practice, the course of action offered by the Buddha is not only to help you, but to help her. It's a wonderful kind of action. Action not just in terms of muscles, but in terms of understanding and compassion. The act of looking is very important, because just by looking you transform everything. And looking is meditation itself. Looking in order to see that not only you suffer, but she suffer also. I don't know whether I believe I believe he does have the capacity to see the suffering. Of the people on the other side. Everyone is a Buddha to be. You are a Buddha to be. You can embrace her with compassion, understanding. President Bush also is a Buddha to be. If he wants to be, he can be a Buddha. He can embrace the other side. He will declare that his course of action will embrace the so-called terrorist. He will see that he does not need to destroy and kill all the terrorists in order for him and for his fellow Americans to be safe. And he can make it known to them, dear friend, you have suffered, we suffer also. This is not a wise course to try punishing each other. This is common sense. We have been trying to punish each other, and both of us have suffered more. The same thing is true with Palestinians and Israelis, Hindu and Muslims. Catholics and Protestants and so on. So the wise course of action is to embrace both. Dear friend, I want you not to suffer. Because I know that as long as you continue to suffer, I will suffer also. And since the other person is a Buddha to be also, he will be able to understand that. And the Lotus Sutra is a message. It's a sutra that only has a message. Everyone is a Buddha to be. To be now, to be in the next moment. So when you have seen that, you have the capacity of telling her that I used to hate you. I wanted to punish you because you have dared to make you suffer, but now I have seen the truth. I have seen that you also have suffered a lot. I don't want you to suffer. Because if you suffer, I will suffer and my children will suffer also. You are able to tell her that. You can tell her by a letter. You can tell her through the telephone. You can tell her through the mediation of a friend. Many ways. Mr. Bush can also do that. He can tell Mr. Ben Laden directly or through a friend. And there are friends who are ready to do so, to convey the message. And that message contains a lot of courage, a lot of wisdom. You can be a bodhisattva politician. You can be a king, a bodhisattva. And we need economic leaders, we need political leaders who are bodhisattvas. And since the Lotus Sutra said everyone can be Buddha, can be Bodhisattva, so we don't lose hope. We know that we can help them to become Bodhisattvas. If our voice is strong enough, clear enough, if we are we speak of the same voice, and then we can help them. So the course of action will include him, her, them. But in order for that action to be possible, you have to get the kind of vision that you don't have now. Because you are still thinking of you as a victim and of her as the source of all your misery. You still think that you are as a victim and they as the source of your fear, your suffering. So you don't have the vision. And that is why you have to sit down and do nothing and just look. And looking in order to see that not only you suffer, but they suffer a lot. And as long as they continue to suffer, you will have to suffer also. And it seems that to eliminate them would be something impossible. Because the course of action you have taken seems to create more of them. To make her more angry, to make her suffer more. And when she suffers, she wants to punish. The same thing. It's like you, when you suffer, you want to punish. So we are going around, we are escalating our suffering. The message of the Buddha is very clear. Stop doing that. Look deeply to see that suffering is suffering into R, sufferings into R. If you suffer, you cannot help yourself, help him. If she suffers, she cannot help herself, she cannot help you. And the children. Who are the children? The children are the people, are us. So after you have got the vision, the insight, the wisdom, compassion arises, and you are able to look with compassion, to speak with compassion, to write with compassion. And there are many, many ways to express your understanding and your compassion. Diplomacy can be genuine, can be human, can be true. Diplomacy does not mean that you have to pretend to be kind while you are not kind. You can be really kind. When you give something, you can give from your compassion and not giving in order to get that person or that group of person on your side. Giving is not buying. Whether that is food or what you call humanitarian aid. That's Dharma Paramita. You truly do that out of compassion. You see that they are hungry, they need help. You just offer. There's no political, no maneuvering behind. I give like this, you have to answer, you have to respond, you have to repay like that. That's dana paramita. Giving, the practice of giving based on understanding and compassion and not interest in the kind of selfish interest. That can be done, that act of compassion can be done by individuals, by nations. When you give a child something to eat, you don't expect anything. You just want the child to have something to eat. That will satisfy you. That make you feel better. You don't expect the child to do something to repay you. And all of us have the capacity of doing that. We do something, we say something in order to relieve the suffering of the other person. Our intention is very pure. That is called dana paramita. A nation can very well do that. It's a very beautiful act. And dana paramita is just not giving food or money or medicine. When you say something that can help a person getting out of the situation, difficult situation, that is also dana paramita. When you say something, people stop suffering. People see a path, a way out. That is a giving. To offer someone a path, that's a wonderful. You don't need money, you don't need anything. You have your wisdom, you have your compassion, and you can offer the best, a path. When you practice the mindfulness trainings, Shila Paramita, you help protect yourself, you protect your family, you protect your society. Suppose you practice the 5th mindfulness training on mindful consumption. When you practice mindful consumption, you protect your body, you protect your consciousness, you protect the body and consciousness of your family and your society. That's an act of giving also. By consuming correctly, by consuming mindfully, you help protect the earth, you help protect children, you help protect the environment. So that is also dana giving. The basic thing is you have the vision. And that vision can be obtained very quickly. And that vision can heal you, can cure you, can make you stop suffering right away. And it's not so complicated that what I think, what I have thought to be my enemy, what I thought to be the only source of my suffering, turn out to be, should be object or the object of my help, of my compassion, because they have suffered of fear, of suspicion, of hate, like I have. I have suffered of fear, of suspicion, of hate. They also have suffered of the same thing. So both of us need compassion. And that is what the Buddha told you. My child, you have suffered so much. You need a lot of compassion. But he, she has suffered a lot also. And she needs a lot of compassion. And if you sit there with the Buddha long enough and look, understanding will arise, compassion will arise. And you know the nectar of compassion heals you right there, right at that moment. You don't do anything, and yet a big transformation is taking place. And you know what to do in order for you to stop completely the suffering and to get the joy that you deserve. Yes, you deserve joy because the wonders of life are there around you and inside of you. It's a pity that you are in the Pure Land, you are in the kingdom of God, and you don't touch anything belong to the kingdom of God, to the Pure Land. You lock yourself into the hell that you have created. So understanding and compassion means liberation. When you have that vision, the nectar of compassion will spring up. It heals your heart. It frees you from your anger, your violence, your willingness to punish. You feel much better. And if you continue, you can get in touch with the wonders of life that can be nourishing and healing. And you know that the other person is still in hell. And the fire of hell still burns her, still burns him. The fire of hate, the fire of anger, fire of violence, the willingness to destroy. They hate you so much. They want to destroy you, even if they have to destroy themselves at the same time. They are ready to blow themselves up in order to blow you up at the same time. You see all these things. And compassion will rise. And you take the vow of action that can help them. And now there is enough compassion, enough the nectar of compassion in your heart to help you to look with the eyes of the Buddha and to speak with the mouth of the Buddha. You are the Buddha now. You can write her a letter. I used to hate you. I wanted to punish you, to make you suffer, because you have dared to make me suffer so much. But now I have changed. I have seen that I was ignorant. I was the victim of my anger, my fear, my ignorance. Now I see that you have suffered a lot also, and I am partly responsible for your suffering. I'm sorry that I have said, done things that make you suffer like that. We don't deserve hell like this. It's stupid to continue this course of action, trying to punish each other. I don't want to suffer anymore. I'm trying to find ways to help you not to suffer. I don't want to bring you to court. I don't want to see you punished. You can say these things naturally. It's not diplomacy. You don't pretend. You really think so. And if you can say these things, it means that, you have stopped suffering. You can bring yourself to say something like that, or to write something like that down. And even that, if that person has not seen, not heard, not read, you are free already. Your freedom will make her free. Because without that, you cannot do anything for yourself and for the other person. And the practice, the same kind of practice can be applied in the political realm. President Bush can be a great Bodhisattva, but he needs another Bodhisattva to help him, watering the seed of the deep vision in him, because he can be capable of seeing that the other side suffer. He can see that this course, the present course of action, is bringing both sides into hell. There's a way out. There is always a way out. And the top of the mountain peak before seems to be the dead end, no way out. But if you change your way of seeing, it becomes the best place to stand on. You stay there, the very same place, but you see reality completely different. I don't know whether what Thich has been saying has watered the seed of understanding in you or not. Because you do have the seed of understanding and compassion. If you notice that your hate, your anger toward her now has stopped, it's no longer bother you, you have got a transformation just by listening to the talk. Because the talk is a Dharma rain. And the Dharma rain has the function of watering the seed of understanding and compassion in you. You do have the seed of understanding and compassion. And if you allow that seed to be watered during the Dharma talk, now you must be feeling better than before the talk. And if you think that you can send her a message telling her that you don't hate her anymore, you don't want her to suffer, and whether there is anything you can do or refraining to do in order to make her not suffer, you are ready to do it. If you think that you have the capacity of saying that or writing it down, you have got a transformation. And that is a gift of the Buddha. That's worth your trip to the deer park already. Many couples in Europe and in America find themselves in the present situation. Many children suffer, and the fight is going on all the time. And this is the message of the Buddha. this is the way out. Supported by a Sangha, that can offer you the light, the path. Surely you can do that. And 1 hour, an hour of sitting meditation, just breathing in and out and look deeply, can already transform you. Important is touch the seat of understanding, correct vision in you, so that the nectar of compassion can spring up. And you can stay a few more days here to nourish that vision you just got, to cultivate more compassion, because these energies are extremely important. You got to have enough of it in order to realize completely the course of action that you want to take. The course of action that will liberate you and liberate her, liberate your children, liberate your nation and their nation as well. Dear one, my plan, my course of action include you. I want you to be happy also. Although I want me and my country to be safe, to be prosperous, but I also want your country and you to be safe and to be prosperous. The message should be very clear and sincere. And the Buddha nature in us should be the base of for our action. Anyone can go and take and get a copy of Thay's book of poetry, whether in Vietnamese or in English. Please call me by my true name. Tiếng Việt, tiếng Anh. In 1966, when the war became very intense in Vietnam, a group of young people came to Thầy and asked Thầy, is there any hope that this war will end? war started with the French occupation forces in 46, 47, and continued with the American presence. At that time, there was 500,000 American soldiers in Vietnam. There's a lot of bombing, there's a lot of destruction of the land. And many of us were on the verge of despair. Despair is the worst enemy. So a group of young people came to me and sit down with me and ask, Thầy, is there any hope that this war will end? Personally, Thầy did not see any light. At the end of the tunnel, it's very totally dark. There was no sign indicating that there would be an end to the war. But the young people, they rely on you. If you are seized by despair, and then they will seize by despair also. You got to have something in you that you can take refuge in, and that the young people can take refuge in. You cannot just give yourself to despair. I told the young people, the Buddha told us, the Buddha teaches us that everything is impermanent. The war also is impermanent. It should end someday. Let us stand firm and do whatever we can do in order to help. We have been doing a lot of things. In America, people were trying to do something. And after 6 months, a year, they had not seen anything. They got very angry. The peace movement in America was extremely angry. Not a lot of peace in the peace movement. If you are not solid, you give up and you see that the only way is to join the other camp. Because in a war there is also always two warring parties. And both believe that violence is the only way to win, to have peace. So you need to have enough energy, enough compassion not to stand firm. In order for you to take refuge in, and for the other people who are young, who are more fragile, to take refuge in. You have to sit there, solid. You have to look with solidity, to speak with solidity in order to inspire confidence. And that is not something you can invent. You can pretend that you have when you do not have. The poem I wrote here has a very nice title. I hope it is in the book. Yes, it is. Sister Tung Nghiêm, where are you? Can you come and read? Tung Nghiêm. Tung Nghiêm had been a lawyer before she became a nun. And the title of the poem is Armfuls of Poetry and Drops of Sunshine. It's long.
Armfuls of poetry, drops of sunshine. Sunshine rides on space, and poetry on sunshine. Poetry gives birth to sunshine, and sunshine to poetry. Sun, treasured in the heart of the bitter melon. Poetry made of steam rising from a bowl of soup in winter. The wind is lurking outside, swirling. Poetry is back to haunt the old hills and prairies. Yet the poor thatched hut remains on the river shore, waiting. Spring carries poetry in its drizzle. The fire sparkles poetry in its orange flame. Sunshine stored in the heart of the fragrant wood. Warm smoke leading poetry back to the pages of an unofficial history book. Sunshine, though absent from space, fills the now rose-colored stove. Sunshine reaching out takes the color of smoke. Poetry in its stillness, the color of the misty air. Spring rain holds poetry in its drops, which bend down to kiss the soil, so that the seeds may sprout. Following the rain, poetry comes to dwell on each leaf. Sunshine has a green color, and poetry a pink one. Bees deliver warmth to the flowers from the sunshine they carry on their wings. On sunshine footsteps to the deep forest, poetry drinks the nectar with joy. With the excitement of celebration, butterflies and bees crowd the earth. Sunshine makes up the dance, and poetry the song. Drops of sweat fall on the hard ground. Poems fly along the furrows. The hoe handily on my shoulder, poetry flows from the breath. Sunshine wanes away down the river, and the silhouette of the late afternoon lingers reluctantly. Poetry is leaving for the horizon, where the king of light is blanketing himself in clouds. A green sun found in a basket full of fresh vegetables. A tasty and well-cooked sun smells delicious in a bowl of rice. Poetry looks with a child's eyes. Poetry feels with a weather-beaten face. Poetry stays within each attentive look. Poetry, the hands that work the poor and arid land somewhere far away. The smiling sun brightening up the sunflower, the ripe and full sun hiding itself in an August peach. Poetry follows each meditative step. Poetry lines up the pages. Discreetly, within closed food packages, poetry nurtures love.
Thank you, dear. I wrote this poem in winter, very cold, in the Hermitage. I had a wood stove. I was writing a book. And I realized that it's a log of wood that I put in the stove, store a lot of sunshine. And the wood is transformed while burning, offer heat and also smoke. They will join a cloud. In these moments, Plum Village did not have any central heat system. We only had a wood stove. We went to buy the old wood stove that people did not use and set up in many rooms in Plum Village. And my vision was that during the time the trees spent in the forest, spring, summer, is practice. The practice of the tree is to store a lot of sunshine inside. So every time I eat an orange, I see the sunshine in the orange. The orange has spent many months stored in sunshine. And when you eat an orange mindfully, you can taste the sunshine. And during winter, it may be very dark, very cold. There are times when the moon did not show up. The sun did not show up for weeks and weeks, months and months. It can be totally very cold, dark, wet. And if you don't store something in the house, how can you survive? You have to store some wood. You have to store some food. And when you look at the vegetation outside, you look at living beings, including the snakes. They know how to store energies for the winter. And there are moments, there are very difficult moments in your life. And if you do not have the energy inside, you cannot survive. You give yourself to despair. There was a time when many writers, artists, intellectuals who was arrested and sent to re-education camps, hard labor camps. They call re-education camps. And their families are left without any care. So they went to a re-education camp and live like prisoners. And every day they have to go to the forest and cut the trees and to do the manual work. Because in re-education camps, they keep you busy all day with manual work. And they don't give you enough food. So that you have to follow the orders completely. You have to surrender completely. You don't know what you will become. You don't know what your family, your child, your children, your wife will become. You can be in despair. You don't know how many years they keep you in a re-education camp and whether you can survive, because there are a lot of sickness that can happen. There was a group of us who live in France, who had been trying very hard to help end the war and support humanitarian work in Vietnam. We try to help victims of the war and orphans created by the war. We were able to bring help to some 9,000 or 10,000 orphans in Vietnam, and we were happy because we were able to do something to help stop the war and bring help to the victims of the war. And suddenly it stopped. We cannot do anything. The country is completely sealed. You cannot telephone. So we were in a state of near despair. Also, although we are not in the country, we were not in the country. But we did not give up. We come together and practice as a Sangha. because only the practice keeps us alive and not to give up. Later on, we were able to create a project helping the families of those who had to go to re-education camps. Intellectuals, artists, musicians, writers, and so on. And that is the fruit of our practice. You have confidence in the Buddha nature in you. You know that there must be a way. If you look very hard, steadily, and then the way will appear. So sooner or later, you see the path, how to continue. But if you give up the path, you never get it. So one person in the concentration camp one day learned that his family was being taken care of because his wife was able to come and visit him and bring him some food and told him that someone from abroad had been helping them to survive. And that someone was us. We had created so many names, and the family names correspond, is the same, should be the same name as the person who is in the camp. So we pretended that we are a relative of that person, and we just send help to the family of that person. At that time, they authorized parcels to be sent to Vietnam, maximum 1 kilogram. And we decided to send French medicines in the box. When the family got the box of medicine, they keep the things they need to treat the illness in the family, and the rest they sell in exchange for rice and food. And usually a package like that can feed the family for 3 months. Because French medicine was very appreciated in the country. And one of the writers, I think his name is Yuan, was able to send us a letter of thanks through his wife. And in his letter, Yuan said, "Dear Angelina," because Angelina is the name who sent the package. That's Sư Cô Chân Không, Angelina. You know a name, another name of Sư Cô Chân Không. I was an advisor because she knew all these musicians and artists, and they advised members of the Sangha to write in order to show that we know about you. We see the value of your creative work. So when they receive such a letter, they are very happy. The letter is also a gift because they know that there are people outside who understand them, who value their creative work. So not only the medicine that can help feed the family, but the letter recognized them, their talent and so on. So he was the advisor of these letters. So Angelina sent the package of medicine to him, to his family. And together with sentence like that, that make him very happy. He was able to send a letter, and he said that, well, I thought that the Buddha was only very mystical image, because we have so many fairy tales where the Buddha appear and to bring relief to such or such poor good boy who suffer. I thought that the Buddha exists only in fairy tales, but tonight, Angelina, the Buddha appeared in myself. The Buddha is real. The Buddha has appeared to my life, to the life of my family, as a reality, not an image in a fairy tale. And that sustained, that create hope. If you don't have hope, if you cannot stand firm, you cannot offer hope. You cannot help other people to fall into despair. But you should have it in you, like the orange, during the time it is on the branch, does not cease to store sunshine in it. So our practice in the deer park, our practice in our family, every minute of it, of our life, must have the duty, the capacity of storing the energy of understanding and compassion. Because understanding and compassion save us, free us, make us strong, prevent us from giving up ourselves to despair. It's like during the summer, you have to think of getting some wood for the winter. Because there will be time when it will be very dark, very cold. The sun and the moon will be very far away, and you have to provide yourself with your own sun, your own moon, your own light. And that is why we have to live our daily life in such a way that each moment can help us store the energy of compassion and understanding. We have to practice like a Buddha. But the Buddha has a lot of that energy. And if we have it in ourselves, well, we don't suffer. We are not afraid anymore. Even if you are caught in a situation like that writer, knowing that compassion and understanding is there in the world, you don't give yourself to despair. And although the sun, the moon is not there, but you can be aware that you are alive, that you can breathe in and out. You are grateful for having this body and having the air around you to breathe. We take it for granted, the air that we breathe. But if you are aware that to have the air to breathe is a wonderful. And you have a path to walk. You have the air to breathe. You have the sky to look up. Why do you give yourself up to despair? So when you eat an orange, eat it in such a way that you can learn from the orange. When you put a log into the wood stove, you do it in such a way that you can learn from the log of wood. And that is mindfulness. And you live in such a way that you can help you to generate the energy of understanding and compassion in you every moment. And in whatever position you find yourself in, you'll be strong enough to be a refuge for yourself and for many other people. So in this poem, there is one or two lines about that, about the log of wood. But all the other things are related, like the fresh vegetable, the sunshine in the fresh vegetable, and the sunshine is of the green color. You can see the sun, a green sun. Sunshine stored in the heart of the fragrant wood. Warm smoke leading poetry back to the pages of an unofficial history book. I was writing a book on a Zen master in the 13th, 14th century. He had been a king before he became a monk. And he founded a school of Zen called the Bamboo Forest School. If you are curious, you read the history of Vietnamese Buddhism, book 1. And if you read the novel Hermitage Among the Clouds, you meet that monk who had been a king. So during that time you stay in the deer park. I don't know whether you stay 1 week or 2. But do like the orange, do like the tree, absorb the sunshine, store the sunshine in you, cultivate compassion, cultivate understanding. The Buddha is there to help. The Sangha is also there to help. Take advantage. Take advantage.